From the day I was born, my place was already decided. Not the oldest, the pride of the family. Not the youngest, the one everyone protected. I was the middle child, the unnecessary one. My name is Ren. At home, my brother was called Reliable. My sister was called Precious. I was called Nothing. When my parents talked about the future, they talked about my brother's success. When they worried, it was about my sister's safety. When they were tired, angry, or disappointed, they looked at me. Why can't you be more useful like your brother? Don't cause trouble. Just stay out of the way. Those words followed me everywhere. At dinner, my opinions were ignored. At school events, my parents arrived late or not at all. When something went wrong in the house, somehow it was always my fault, even when I stayed silent. I learned early that crying didn't help. Explaining didn't help. Trying harder didn't help, so I stopped trying to be seen. At school, teachers barely remembered my name. My brother was known as a genius. My sister was known as cute and talented. I was just the other one. Friends didn't come to my house. No one asked how I felt. When I got sick, I still went to school. When I achieved something, it was treated like luck. One night, I overheard my parents talking. "We really don't have time for Ren," my mother said tiredly. "He'll manage on his own," my father replied. "He always does." They didn't mean to hurt me. That made it worse. That night, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, I realized something painful. They weren't cruel. They just didn't need me. I wasn't hated. I was invisible. And as the years passed, that invisibility slowly began to crush me. But I didn't know yet that being ignored would one day become my greatest weapon. As Ren grew older, the house didn't change. Only his understanding did. He stopped expecting praise, stopped hoping someone would notice his effort, stopped believing that if he tried harder, things would be different. Instead, he learned to be quiet. When his brother succeeded, Ren clapped. When his sister cried, Ren stepped back. When his parents, Ren didn't announce his success. He didn't come home bragging. He didn't demand recognition. He didn't ask for an apology. He simply changed. By the time he turned 18, the boy who once stayed quiet in the background was no longer living in that house. Ren had earned a scholarship. Not because he was the best student in class, but because he had taught himself discipline when no one else cared enough to teach him anything. Living alone felt strange at first. No one telling him to stay out of the way. No one comparing him to anyone else. For the first time, the silence felt peaceful. Months passed. Then one day, his phone rang. It was his mother. Her voice sounded tired, different. "Ren, can you come home this weekend?" He hesitated but agreed. When he returned, the house felt smaller. His brother was stressed, overwhelmed by expectations. His sister was no longer the carefree child everyone protected. The family was struggling, and for the first time, they looked at Ren differently. Not as a burden, not as an afterthought, as someone capable. His father asked for advice. His mother listened, really listened. Even his siblings noticed how calm he was, how steady. They didn't say sorry, but they didn't call him useless anymore either. That night, Ren stood alone in his old room, unchanged and empty, and realized something important. He didn't need their validation. He had already built a life where he mattered. Being ignored had taught him independence. Being overlooked had taught him resilience. Being the useless middle child had forced him to grow strong in silence. Ren left the next morning without drama. As he walked away, he understood the truth that had taken years to accept. Sometimes the child no one depends on becomes the one who needs no one. And in that quiet strength, Ren finally found his worth.